Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Today, I want to talk to you briefly about BetterHelp. I am happy to announce that BetterHelp is a sponsor of this podcast. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional counselor. Listen, this is not a crisis line, nor is it self help, but it is professional counseling done securely online from the comfort of your own home. This service is available for clients worldwide, and you can even express your desire for a Christian therapist. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor and receive timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great matches, and they make it super easy to change counselors if needed. It is very affordable and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living your life happier today. So feel free to visit betterhelp.com to read testimonials. That's better, HELP, and join the over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. I have great news for you. Because you are a listener of this podcast, Empowered to Empower You, you get 10% off your first month. That's right. You get 10% off your first month, but you have to visit the link at https:// betterhelp.com/bewindi. I'll make sure to put this in the show notes. Okay, let's get to the show. Empower to Empower You podcast is about all things Jesus Christ, mental health, anything to help you change your mindset so that you have the right perspective and become the better version of yourself. I am your host, Bewindibobb. Hey y'all. If this is your first time joining the podcast, thank you and welcome, welcome, welcome. You did not stumble here by accident, but just in case you did, you're in for a treat. Listen, let me just share my whys because I'm so thankful to announce that I have listeners from all over the world. Y'all, I just made it to over 2,000 downloads. Oh my gosh. So just in case this is your first time, I want you to hear my whys. My whys for this podcast: by the time people listen to these episodes, I desire for someone to give his or her life to Jesus, get closer to the Lord, read his or her Bible more, increase prayer life to increase their faith, engage in further development, and start investing in your mental health by starting therapy. I want you to know that just because I serve as a licensed clinical social worker and provide therapy, this podcast is not a replacement to therapy. Okay? So I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you so much again for joining the podcast and joining this episode. I am so thankful. Have you listened to episode number 40? Episode number 40 was Do You Trust God? Oh my gosh. You know, when I did this podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, are people going to really listen? You know, but let me tell you, y'all are just showing up and coming through. And I'm so grateful that I have so many listeners to the episodes. And I just pray that it's adding value to your life. Even if you don't let me know, let somebody know, right? If you haven't listened to episode 40, do me a favor, pause this one, go and listen to that one and then come back. All right. Those of you who are sharing the podcast with others, you're putting it in your social media, you sharing. There's so many ways to share information now. And I thank you. I thank you for sharing the episodes, and let me know how it's adding value to your life. Let me know if there's something that you've changed as a result of listening to these episodes. Some people have been rocking with me since January 2020. I did not know that starting this episode would be, in January, which would mean that this is something that people would be listening to during a whole pandemic. I am so thankful for how God is in the details of my life. If you have not posted a review, would you do that for me, please? On whatever platform that you're listening to, just take a second and post a review. And those of you who have posted a review and maybe I missed it, please know that I am very appreciative. I wish the thing would notify me when a review was posted. Also, Anchor, which is the website that hosts my podcast, there's a way to leave voice messages. Actually, somebody left me a voice message all the way from Ireland. I'm so thankful. So I want to give a shout out to Carrie. You left me a beautiful message on the Anchor site. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And I just pray that you are well and God continues to favor you and every person who has posted a review. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In fact, I'm going to try my best to do some shout outs to people accordingly as I can. I don't want to make any promises, but y'all, I don't want to leave anybody out either. So I just have to use wisdom with that as well. Okay. So I really had plans to talk to you about something else, but because I wanted to do a podcast, an episode on a Christian's response to anxiety, which will be a follow-up from a Christian's response to depression. But I was driving on Saturday and I felt inspired because Saturday, October the 10th, was recognized as World Mental Health Day. So welcome to episode 41, 8 simple habits to keep you going. 8 simple habits to keep you going. I don't really plan for this to be a long episode, but I really want to take a moment to share something really quickly. I'm super, super grateful, y'all. God has really blessed me this year. For those of you who don't know, I jumped from working for someone else and my practice has been going since November 2017. I've been in practice since November 2017. But July 13th of this year, 2020, I jumped into full-time practice. And y'all, my gosh, like it has been nonstop. Like God has just been blessing. He's been giving me favor with my clients. He's just been blessing with clients from the north, the south, the east, and the west. I mean, for real, for real. I was looking at something earlier this week and I noticed that in the month of September, I served 56 clients. That is the most clients I have ever served in a month. Okay, to God be all the glory. And I mean, it has just been creeping up literally since really July. It's been creeping up since July. So I'm really, really thankful, super, super grateful. I don't always talk about these details. I'm so sorry. It's not that I don't want to. I just don't share them, but they are amazing wins, and it is an opportunity for me to give thanks to God. I also forgot to mention a couple things that recently in the past few months. And y'all don't hurt me, okay? I literally forgot to share this on the podcast. I really did. And I need to do better with sharing my wins with y'all because I know that many people are praying for me. Many people are really, really believing in what I'm doing and what I'm sharing. And many of you have really positive thoughts, and I really, really appreciate that. So I want to make sure I share some wins, but you have to do that with discretion. You can't share everything to the world. I mean, this podcast is listened to by lots of people, right? So I can't share every single detail, but I have to share things that allow me to give glory to God as well, and also shout outs to other people. So I have been a guest on 2 different podcasts this year, y'all, in the past few months. I've been a guest on the Practice of Therapy podcast by Gordon Brewer. I just want to give a plug to Gordon. Really, really great podcast, great interviews. Anybody who's in the counseling space, really great podcast to plug into. And I recently was a guest on the podcast, Faith in Practice podcast by Whitney Owens. Really great podcast for those people who are, again, in the counseling space, but really incorporating faith in their practice. I'm super, super excited. So for Gordon Brewer, you can just kind of look if you're interested to hear that episode. That was early on I think that was around maybe June or July, I think. I think that was in July. So I think it's episode number 138 of the Practice of Therapy by Gordon Brewer. And then Faith in Practice podcast by Whitney Owens is supposed to air on my birthday, October 28th. I'm super excited. So what a great birthday gift. I love Faith in Practice podcast. So I just want to plug in for them. They are not paying me to do this. I just want to share that. Also, you will also hear probably a commercial ad that I am saying or sharing, about BetterHelp. So BetterHelp is a new sponsor to my podcast. Super, super excited. So I'm going to share that information in the show notes as well. So you may hear an ad. I'm learning how to incorporate that into the podcast. Y'all, I just jumped into this. That's a whole nother story, so I'll have to share that for another day. But just want to share those wins with you. Super thankful, super thankful. So if you are, for those of you who are supporting me, for those of you who are praying for me, so for those of you who are listening and you have posted reviews and you're sharing the episodes, I really want you to know that I appreciate you more than you know. So I'm sure that you know someone else or yourself who this year has been challenged in so many ways, especially emotionally and spiritually. And today I want to take a few minutes of your time and just ask you a few questions to encourage you and to help you reflect. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? And most times we say things like, well, good, straight, blessed, highly favored, but those are not feelings. How are you really feeling? How are you taking care of your mental health? What are some things that you do? Some of the simple things that you do to keep you grounded? I know for most of us, since this thing called the pandemic started, our routines, they have fell out of the window, like literally. But let me tell you something. Routines are necessary for our mental health because simple habits that we adopt can either propel us forward, keep us grounded, move us backwards, or keep us stagnant. Did you hear that? Did you catch that? Let me say it again. Simple habits that we adopt can either propel us forward, move us backward, keep us grounded, or keep us stagnant. Okay? There is power in the habits that we adopt. And I know many people are tapped out and burnt out and maybe, and I'm just hoping that there's something that I say that you can grab as a takeaway, because sometimes it's in the simple things that make such a great impact in our lives. I'm not going to be before you long, but today I just want to share some simple strategies for managing your mental health, especially as we come to the end, almost the end of this year. It is not too late. It's never too late to adopt simple habits. You may say, well, Bewindi, I blew it. I had some habits and I got away from them. I stopped working out, or I'm eating more, or, I'm staying up late every night. I just kind of got away from some things. I've let myself go. Well, you know what? It is never too late to get on board. It's never too late you can have a reset anytime. It's never too late to resume or reset or restart or get on board with managing your mental health. So I want to bring to your attention 8 simple habits that are very impactful to keep you going and get you to help you manage your mental health. This is not an all-inclusive list. I just want to highlight 8. Habit number 1, your morning routine. How do you wake up in the morning? What are some simple things you do in the morning to start your day? Now, some people wake up really agitated. If you wake up late and you wake up frazzled, you're rushing, you're moving, you're trying to get the kids ready, you have a nasty attitude, you're already flustered, you're thinking the first thing in your mind is, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, oh my gosh. Like, you're not gonna have a good day. Okay, I just tickled myself, I'm sorry. You're not gonna have a good day. Like, the simple things you do in the morning really help you to conquer your day. How you wake up in the morning affects how your day goes. How you go to sleep the night before affects your morning. So some of the things that I do, the first thing that comes out of my mouth in the morning is thanksgiving to the Lord. Like, the first thing I say when my eyes open, Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning before my feet touch the floor. Now, that's not my actual prayer time, but that's what I say out of my mouth. Then, of course, as the morning goes on, there are some other things I do. I take my supplements. I have prayer, devotion time, declarations, and then I exercise. Those things, those few things help me to start my day with energy and focus. I say affirmations. I again, declarations over my day. Those things help me to have focus and energy before I start pouring out to my clients. I'm making sure that I get filled in or poured into, if that makes sense. Okay, so morning routine is very important. So again, some of the things I'm saying is for you to really take time to engage in your reflection and really look at, what are you doing? If you're doing something that works, keep doing it. Maybe you've done something that worked before And I know for a lot of people, the pandemic has affected, of course, to everybody, the pandemic has affected your routines. But y'all, there are some things that we have to decide. We have to recreate. It may be recreating a new routine. It may be creating something new. It may be the smallest thing. Whether it's making a to-do list the night before so that you're not flustered in the morning about your day and what you have to do. Whether that's making sure you go to bed earlier, right? There are simple things that we can do to take charge and not blame it on something or someone else. So look at your routines. Look at how you wake up in the morning. Are there things that you can add to your morning? Is it possible for you to maybe take a moment and just have some silence, maybe take some time to go to another room or go somewhere to make your tea or make your coffee and take some silence and go and engage in Thanksgiving, or put on some worship music, or if you believe in the Lord. And if you don't believe in the Lord, take some time of silence, take some time to just be, to just sit and be and visualize yourself having a great day. For you, that may be stretching, taking time to stretch and just move energy. It may be smiling. It may be your affirmations. It may be whatever. Just take some time to conquer your day, right? Let yourself know. Somebody said to me that some of the things that their the supervisor says is this is going to be a good day. Great things are going to happen for me. Great things are going to happen through me. Great things are going to happen to me. That's something that she shared with me, and I really love that. Okay, habit number 2. Create a positive environment. Environment matters in the sense of making it conducive so that you can function optimally. What does that look like for you? I really want you to think about that. Again, it's simple things. This is about simple things, simple habits to help you conquer, to help you keep going, to help you manage your mental health. For me, that looks like candles. Oh my gosh, that looks like essential oils. Let me just give a shout out really quickly to Aroma Cabinet. Aroma Cabinet, I'll put the notes in the show notes so you can feel free to order your essential oils. But essential oils, that looks like for me praise and worship music. So even when I'm doing counseling, I have Air One or K-Love or Todd Delaney or Travis Green or some type of worship station playing in the living room, that in between my sessions I'm either singing or dancing. Y'all, I found this candle called Cafe Mocha, okay, with essential oil. Let me tell you, that made me fall in love, like for real. So it's the simple things that you can add to your environment. And if you're not working from home, but maybe you're working in the office, then in your space, you decide what your environment looks like for you. That could be very hard. I'm not saying by any means that could be very difficult if you're working in a toxic environment. If you're working in an environment of gossip and just negativity, that could be very difficult. So just decide, what is the smallest thing? These are not big things, but what is the smallest thing that you could incorporate or add to your environment to make sure that it's conducive, to make sure that it's positive for you to function optimally? Habit number 3, healthy eating and drinking. What you consume impacts your focus. That's all I'm going to say to that. What you consume impacts your focus. Habit number 4, gratitude, and more gratitude. Y'all, it truly changes your attitude. That's something I try to do at the end of my day. And for me, it's just identifying 3 to 5 things I'm grateful for. I remember having someone, I suggested, practicing gratitude, and she came back and told me, oh my gosh, that made such a big difference in my attitude, in my mindset, because she was not focusing on all the things that were not going well or things that she should have or how she should be further along. It helped her to focus in the present and what's going on, what she's thankful for. So if you are not doing that, think about adapting that to your lifestyle and see how it makes a difference for you. Habit number 5, take moments to regulate during the day. Regulate means to be brought down to calm. Take moments to just breathe, just be, brought down to regulate. So that may look like taking a moment to be silent again and breathe, right? That may look like taking a moment and going outside, taking a brief walk, move away from your computer. That may look like stretching. I remember one time when I used to work at Youth Villages, randomly in between my work, I would just do push-ups. Now that sounds really weird, but that's I do a lot of weird things, okay? There are times when in between my counseling sessions, I would just go outside. I would just take a walk. I would, sit outside and sit down and let my face the sunshine. I would sit down and breathe. That I may go. There was a time that I went out in the living room and I just twirled around like a little girl, just dance. Laugh. Find something to make you laugh. Or you know what? Take that good old nap. There is power in a nap. And my naps may be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20 minutes. But let me tell you, a nap does some wonders for the brain health, okay? Helps you focus. It's amazing. I love a good nap. How many of you love a good nap? Yes. I'm not saying nap all the time now. I'm just saying, when you need to, you listen to your body for sure. So all those things are good to help you regulate during the day. There's more things, of course, but think about that for yourself. Again, this is more for you to reflect. What are some things that can help you regulate? What's something that helps you to just kind of settle down for a moment and just bring you back to the present and help you to calm, to just be present, to just take a moment and just breathe? What does that look like for you? What does that look like for you? Habit number 6, practice self-care. Now, there are different examples of self-care, including emotional, such as affirmations and practicing forgiveness, etc. There's personal self-care, such as making short-term goals or long-term goals or vision boards, or getting out of debt. There's physical self-care, such as taking a walk or getting a massage. There's psychological self-care, such as self-reflection or journaling. There's professional self-care, such as taking a mental health day or intentionally unplugging during your lunch break or leaving work at work. There's spiritual self-care, such as prayer and worship and sermons. There's so many examples of self-care, but what does that look like for you? How do you intentionally practice self-care? How do you do that? Habit number 7, nurturing relationships and practicing kindness. And that could be checking in on a friend, letting somebody know that you're thinking about them or you're praying for them. That could be also making sure that you're practicing getting filled up. You're practicing kindness to yourself. If you have a job where you're constantly pouring out, who you talk to can pour back into you or can drain you. Okay, the people that you talk to that you're like, oh my gosh, I do not have the capacity to talk on the phone right now, but I'm going to talk to you later, right? So who are you talking to? How are you practicing kindness? And also, what relationships do you have in your life that are nurturing for you? That's so important, y'all. So think about that. Habit number 8, this is the last habit, and I'm almost out of your way. Set boundaries. Now that's a whole nother podcast by itself, but learn to say no. I promise, no has never taken anybody out. Okay. A lot of times when we enjoy our work, it's hard. It's hard to stop and we keep going and going. And then we realize we have worked 9-10-hour days. But think of some simple ways to say no, whether that's tell yourself, okay, this is it. Leave your office if you work from home and close the door, turn off the light, go to the other side of the house, whether that's putting on an alarm and stop and letting the alarm be the sound to say, okay, this is it. Whether that's putting a do not disturb, or whether that's, whatever that looks like for you, learn to say no. Learn to cut it off. So, because saying no is saying yes to you, yes to your mental health, yes to adding value to your family. If you are with a family, you working, it's important to learn when to say no so that you can focus on what's really, really important as well. Okay, so just figure out in your life. I want you to just kind of do this homework for yourself. Where in your life can you do better with setting boundaries? Again, that's a whole nother podcast, but I'm just trying to sharing these 8 simple strategies with you, 8 simple habits. Simple habits. They may seem more difficult, but they're really not. It's a decision. It's called being intentional. So I just wanted to keep it really simple today. But many times we just have to go back to the basics, y'all. Simple things that keep us going. And I'm not talking about Dunkin' Donuts. Have y'all heard the slogan, American runs on Dunkin'? I don't know why that came in my mind. I'm sorry. I just wanted to add that weird humor. But seriously, I just want you, here's the thing I want you to do, okay? And I want you to come back and tell me. I want you to really take time to think about what are your simple things. It may be 3 simple things. It may be 5 simple things. What are your simple things that you do, that you need to do, that you already have done to keep you grounded, to help you manage your overall wellness? What are 5 to 6 or 7 or 8 simple things that really help you function as your best self? It's so important to be aware of that. Why? So we can build on it and keep doing it. Because if we are not aware, then all of a sudden we fall into some patterns that will keep us from being optimal, from being our best selves. So it's so important to pay attention to that. Okay? Well, I hope that this was helpful to you. Again, I really want you to let me know what you come up with. You can do that by connecting with me on IG at empowered2serve, or you can email me at bewindibobb at empowered2empoweryou.com. Listen, I hope you have a great week on purpose, and I will be back next week. Take care. Bye-bye.